Good day and welcome to this transmission. I was walking in the forest. This is my sacred place where I go and have meditational, ceremonial, connecting to myself, spiritual time. And this inspiration really hit me in my heart because I have this deep love for the masculine, the divine masculine. Like, there's so many spiritual catalysts around me, like really light beings that are incredible in my kind of network. And like, we all know of each other, we all know of each other all over the world. We're kind of like this grid of light workers, and as the planet is awakening and as we are going through the awakening, these beings, me myself included, is starting to really grow into some spectacular beings. It's like we are more and more kind of becoming who we really are, who we were in Atlantis, when we knew how to use light energy, technology, really use our power, the creative force, the field, to do some incredible magic and really so much powerful, so many powerful things. And it's like we're in this shift now where we kind of have been a little more in the physical, so we didn't give the energetic work, we didn't give it so much credit. We've kind of been in this process of starting to believe in the energy part of the world again. We almost forgot. We thought we were merely physical, so dense, and the reality is that we are beneath it all, of course, energy. Even science can prove that now. And now we're in the shift where we're starting to actually give energy authority again. Like, now it's starting to become more and more okay to speak of energy, to use the word energy in your sentences. It's like the word is getting much more authority, it's getting its power back. And in that same process, it's because we are starting to believe in ourselves energetically, not just physically. And there's so many different layers to that. We're starting to actually believe in our powers and how we actually are starting to then believe in energy, how we then can work with energy, how we then can move and create with energy. I digressed, and now I don't know why I digressed, but there was a point. I'm sure it will all be strung together eventually. But my inspiration was about the divine masculine, because yes, now I remember. So now that I'm seeing all these incredible light beings around me, all these spiritual catalysts on the planet starting to really awaken to becoming some real powerful beings, not just star seeds, not just light children, but actual full-grown powerhouses, lighthouses. And in those processes, I have been witnessing for many years now how we go through, first of all, as light beings, we transmute energy, we transmute the shadows, the darkness, all the things that are in evolution here on the planet now. All of that stuff, all the dense energy, all of the darkness, it's being transmuted through us. So we are clearing timelines, ancestral timelines, collective energetic patterns through us. It's being cleansed through us. So we have to go through the emotions and the shadows and all of that as a part of the process of clearing it. And when you go through the shadow, like, a part of it is actually becoming it in one way, like letting it actually move through you, letting that be a expressed through you, letting those parts of where the collective holds shame for certain expression and certain emotions, where we are holding emotions down because there's this collective belief system, or not knowing how to actually feel or express those emotions. It's being really, there's a lot of emotions, there's so much taboo around as well, and everything has to come up, everything, all of the stuff, and nothing can be held down, nothing can be held resistance against. Everything, all the emotions, as we clear the whole energetic scale of all vibrations that exist, we have to clear all the places where we are holding some kind of resistance to certain energies. And this is happening through us. So we have to play out these different roles, we have to play out different taboo things, we have to play out the shadow. And in that process, it's happening individually, but it's also happening in relationship. And then when I see these grand, amazing light beings in relationship, and I myself have gone through this as well, the clearing becomes something that happens with both parts together. So we start to work on the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies, all the darkness related to both. And there's some stuff that comes up. And for instance, now there's so much happening with the divine masculine energy and all of the stuff that's been held in that energetic pattern. So the divine masculine is doing some massive clearing, and then it has to kind of come up in him, it has to move through him, he has to play it out in different ways. And it's of course not just the he's, because we, the women, also have the masculine energies inside of us. But what I'm often seeing, and I've experienced this myself as well, is that the divine masculine is so easily judged, and especially by the awakening feminine energy, by the awakening feminine collective. Because we are rising in our power, and we're tired of being suppressed and held down and all of this by the masculine energy. By the way, there's nothing that suppresses you. You give your power away and you allow something to suppress you. So it is just playing out the role to teach you how to gain more of your power back. They're just playing roles for you. They're there for you, to help you. But so easily in that rising of the feminine energy, we start judging the masculine. We point the fingers, and all that shadow stuff is being played out through him. And we start judging him, pointing all the fingers to him from the old historic timeline that we are clearing. We hold so much grudge against the masculine, and that's something we have to clear. That's something we have to go within ourselves and start clearing that history, not replaying it and pointing the finger and just keep judging him. And I just, like in my own relationship with my soulmate, like I have different relationships. I have a twin flame. I was together with a soulmate, like a karmic soulmate, for 5 years, and we did so much clearing work. Both of us hold the Christ consciousness patterns, and in those caring of those patternings, of those energies, there's a huge history of kind of the collective putting out their judgments of what's inside of them on Christ and putting him to the cross. that's just one part of the story, but I call it like the black sheep complex. It's like it's like some of the masculine energy has to kind of play out that black sheep complex, where everyone is, the collective is putting their stuff onto him, judging him, letting him take the blame, letting him take all of the blame, when it's actually all inside of us. And after my journey with my soulmate, like the awakening that was happening within both of us, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, like, and what he had to allow in that awakening process to play through him, like some of the stuff that had to kind of move through him was some stuff that I so easily could judge. It pushed all of my buttons. It, in my mind, had to learn how to be so flexible and so understanding. And so expanding. Like when you understand, you expand. You open your mind to hold the space, to be flexible, to understand. To understand is how your mind loves. Just feel that for a second. Feel the feeling of understanding. I understand. Like I understand. That's your mind loving. It's the love of your mind. It's that part of the central channel that goes through the body. When the love comes up to these chakras, it's about the ability to open, to understand, instead of judging. And I've seen in close relationships around me as well, like what's playing out between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, especially when it's really powerful light beings in relationship. It's like it can become quite dark. A lot of stuff is being transmuted, a lot of stuff is coming up, and it's impossible to kind of find harmony or stay in those relationships when you forget that this is stuff moving through us. When you start to point fingers and you think it's personal, and you think he's losing his mind, he's becoming this violent psychopath, and you're becoming some kind of narcissistic codependent. Like, I'm just making those as examples. Like, I've been the narcissist, I've been the psychopath, maybe not the psychopath, but and like my partner, he has been the codependent, the narcissist, the angry, the insanely angry, I'm not coming up with all the examples right now, but we've all juggled those roles. And I just have so much love in my heart. Like, I love the masculine, and that is something that's been allowed to work through me, because I didn't love the masculine in this depth that I do now, before I had to go through that journey with my soulmate that we did for 5 years. We basically were together to transmute, to let all of the stuff that was held in my ancestor line, the collective line, his ancestor line, our past lives together, all of it, where we transmuted all of it. It was incredible and so hard at times, but deep within me and deep within the divine feminine, there's wounds. There's so much anger from the suppression, from all of the things we have experienced collectively, and this anger is often held in the bottom of our consciousness, something like this. This anger is maybe not on the surface, but it's so often there, and when you end up in those arguments, when things are coming up, it's so easy to just hold that grudge, that judgment, to refuse to go deeper and open and soften and actually heal and actually transmute this that is between you. And actually, from the surroundings also, in my collective field, when my partner, the masculine energy, was going through all this clearing, he was so easily judged. And me and him, our souls speak up here, like we speak up here, we speak 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 down in the lowest part of our consciousness. And in the highest parts of our souls, we knew the story, we knew what we were going through, we knew what we were doing. And others around us did not hold that same perspective, that same ability to see it from the highest point of view. So there was so much judgment against him, and there was so much, at the same time, there was these energies I would experience towards myself, where there was a lot of, I would see this energy in people's eyes, where there was a lot of maybe pity, or like they could see what was going on but I couldn't, from this viewpoint of like really feeling sorry for me for not seeing what an incredible, horrible douchebag my partner was, when I could see the truth. I could see what he was going through. I could see the depth of the work that he was doing. I could hold that love for him, and I knew, and I felt like how much that expanded me, how much that opened me to loving from those places where my divine feminine was deeply hurt historically, from all the history that we have together with those two energies. And people so easily put me in this position of not being in my power, like seeing me from not being in my power, from seeing me from that broken kind of divine feminine energy of poor you, like this masculine energy is suppressing you. Like, no, we were clearing, we were doing incredible amounts of work between us, and I was just being more and more empowered, because I was able to love deeper and deeper and deeper in those places where I was contracted and where I held the collective wounds for the divine feminine. And now I just have so much love for the divine masculine. Like, I just love him. I love him so deeply. I understand him. I sympathize with him. I work with the energy, and of course at times we have to mirror each other, we have to crash, we have to learn from each other, we have to find that balance between the both of the energies. Sometimes the divine feminine has to rise, sometimes we have to soften, sometimes we have to open to be vulnerable, because let me tell you, one huge part of the divine feminine energy in women has become hard, contracted, because it's trying to protect itself, because it's trying to have this role of being the masculine as well as the feminine, because it's scared of being hurt, because I lost my flow. But and so many times, of course, it's about the divine feminine finding the power and rising, but so many times it's also about softening and allowing the divine masculine to support you, to hold you as you rise, because he's not being able to have his role until we soften and allow our vulnerability to come through, so he can hold space for us. It's like we're blocking him from his space, and the moment you shift into your soft, vulnerable place, he gets his place, and he can hold you as you rise, because your divine feminine energy rising is not, it's not powerful, it's not just in its strength like the masculine. It's powerful in a whole other way. It's not like, I feel sometimes the feminine tries to mimic how the masculine is in its power, and it's not the same at all. The divine feminine is unruly and wild and flowy and soft and vulnerable and deep, and it's completely different. completely different. And of course we're in a process of balancing both, so we can have both of the masculine power within us and the divine feminine power within us. But I just want to give a shout out to the divine masculine, and I see you, I see the work you're doing, and I see what you're going through, and the message is for everyone there. Just try to look with understanding in your eyes. Try to move past the judgment. Try to see where the judgment is coming from, because it's from within. All the love in my heart goes out to the masculine and the feminine. You beautiful, beautiful, flowy Shakti force. Amen. Namaste.